You officially owe me one memorable sports moment.
Listen to me. The Texas Rangers are going to win the World Series this year. The Arnold Schwarzenegger has called it. Don't be afraid to listen to me.
It's the Hague Sports Podcast with Nathan Hague.
You don't think they're hooking up with them some of them Ranger tickets, man? No. Strike one.
Get the Cowboys. We're going to get the Cowboys.
You're an idiot wrapped in a moron. This is the show. But we're not going to change fans.
I've never been a sports fan, but now, go sports!
All right, well, we are pleased to be joined here on the Hague Sports Podcast and the Ranger Report by one Derek Holland of the Texas Rangers. As we know, won a World Series game last year and all-around good guy. Derek, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Now, we're going to start off with a question about, I want to make sure that you're doing okay after what I saw. I saw a video from the Ben and Skin show where Dirk Nowitzki took you deep down in the bowels of the American Airlines Center playing wiffle ball. Is giving up that big one to Nowitzki going to damage your psyche at all going into the season?
I'm going to be a little frustrated. Dirk just crushed me. I don't really know what to expect now going into the season. No, I'm actually good. It was a lot of fun. That was the big thing, is just being able to go out there and have fun and be with each other. So I'm just ready to get out there and start the season. That's the big thing.
So are you telling us that you're actually not going to be suiting up for the Mavs this year?
I'm trying to. I'm just waiting for my call. It's basically like I'm in the minor leagues right now with the Mavericks, I guess you could say.
All right. Well, thanks for that. All right. With spring training, Derek, only being a couple of weeks away now, how prepared do you feel to get back at it and try to repeat for the third time as American League champion?
It feels great, but at the same time, we got a tough road ahead of us. This is we're going up against some good competition. The Tigers made some key additions. The Angels definitely picked up some good guys. So I feel like we've got some ground we got to make. But at the same time, people have already eliminated us right away, and yet we still have the same team pretty much that we had last year. We just lost, obviously, CJ and picked up Yu Darvish and moved Neftali to the rotation, made a few other additions. But it's pretty much the same team, but we're already rolled out. It's like they already got a favorite already.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely going to be a tough road, particularly, there's been a lot of talk from the Angels and the additions that they've made. What do you think about facing Albert Pujols, and what's it going to be like to see C.J. Wilson, your former teammate, playing for your division rival?
Say that again? Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's it going to be like to face Albert Pujols and also see your former teammate and C.J. Wilson playing for your division rival?
Well, Pujols, you got to give him credit. He's an unbelievable hitter, but at the same time, you can't just sit there and be all about Albert Pujols. They got a tough lineup as it is, so don't forget about the rest of the guys that are in that lineup. But at the same time, they still got to face our guys. We're going to make our pitches to them. They got to make their pitches to us. We still got an unbelievable lineup as well. So we can't just sit here and dwell on one person. We got our things we got to worry about. That's awesome. Pujols is a great hitter. Nothing against him at all. But, I got to go out there and make my pitches and see if he can hit. At the same time, too, with CJ, you got to tip your hat to him. The guy's had 2 great seasons as a starter coming out of the bullpen. It's going to be a little different to see him in a Angels uniform, but, that's just how it is. We got to go out there and go.
Yeah, as a longtime Ranger fan, I kind of thought about it. I don't, some Ranger fans really turned on CJ and really disliked him, and we even made up a song about him, but we don't actually dislike him. I wish the guy success. I still really like him. I just hope he doesn't have success when he plays against you guys.
That's what we hope, too. We want to go out there and make sure that we can continue to dominate, but at the same time, the game of baseball is crazy. There's not anything can happen, actually. I'll take that back. Anything can happen.
That's true. Now, we talked a little about your hitting. With pitching, you made the addition of Yu Darvish. I don't know if you had the chance to meet him yet, but I'm sure you've seen him. What are your thoughts on adding Yu Darvish to your rotation?
I feel good about it. He's definitely put up some unbelievable numbers if you haven't seen him. They were ridiculous. He's been playing great baseball over in Japan, and I think he wants to come take it to the next level over here in America, and I'll have to see how that works out. The big thing is the adjustments. I think we'll make him feel comfortable here. Our chemistry in the clubhouse is amazing, and hopefully we'll continue to go out there and get him ready for the game. But he's going to be a good addition, I think.
And we've gotten to see Naftali. Last spring training, there was talk about him moving up to the starter, then back in the rotation. And how do you think Naftali will do as a starter this year at the major league level?
I think he can be all right. It all comes down to how he comes to spring training. If he's ready to go, that's the big thing. And then also, Maddox both Maddoxes, I should say, now Greg and Mike, are going to, do their job to get him ready. And I think, I've had some talks with him, making sure that he's prepared. And he kind of has an idea of what to expect. I mean, he was a starter in the minor leagues with me, so I know he's capable of going out there and pitching and doing his thing. But like I said, it's just a matter of getting out there and doing it and transferring it from, being a starter or a closer to a starter now, like CJ did.
Yeah, and I think he has a good chance of doing that. Just watching Naftali last year and his curveball and his slider that he'd throw, those were nasty-looking pitches. And I think if he can work those in with his fastball, he's going to be tough to hit. But you personally, Derek, what are your personal goals going into 2012?
Me personally, I just want to be stronger. That's a big thing. I want to continue to get stronger, get better with my off-speed pitches. At the end of the season, I started establishing my off-speed a lot better. I finished the season strong, so now I just got to pick up from where I left off and go from there. But not too much of a change. I feel spending time with the hitters like Kinzer, Young, and Hamilton, and Beltre, and all those guys, I'm going to be picking their brains, trying to see what goes on in their minds, so that way I can use that into the future.
How would you say this team compares with the team of the last 2 years going into spring training?
How does this compare, is that what you're saying, to last year?
Yeah, I mean, after having, going to the World Series twice and, and of course you have meshed real well and everything, and so like with the guys who you now have on the roster and guys have left, and I mean, how would you compare if you just, I mean, obviously it's so sneaking early, but if you just had to, give like a ballpark, example.
It's not going to change anything, to be honest with you. I mean, if you saw, actually, you guys don't get to see it really. We had the same chemistry that we had from the year before. When we went to the World Series against the Giants, we got beat. Nothing really changed. I mean, our attitudes were a little bit higher because we had gotten a taste of it, and we knew that we were going to have the same guys coming back. But we didn't change really anything. I mean, it's, Wash does a good job of keeping us grounded and keeping us where we are. He knows what we got to do. We just got to keep taking that one step. We just keep getting closer and closer. Soon enough, it's going to come through. Wash does a great job managing us, getting us through it all, and I think, Mike being, our captain, he keeps us, well and prepared and ready to go, and I think we're not going to change anything drastically. We're just going to go out there and do our thing.
What does the addition of Greg Maddox mean to you?
It's awesome. I can't ask for anything better. I got Nolan Ryan as the president. I've got Greg Maddox coming into the office and everything. This is unbelievable. I got hands-on, unbelievable guys, the best you could ask for, really. Strikeout king, and Greg Maddox going out there. He has pinpoint accuracy. These are the kind of things that you want to have in your organization.
Yeah, I agree. I was excited when you guys added Greg Maddox, but you guys are now not flying under the radar anymore. The last 2 years, I'd say you kind of were, even though you went to one World Series. We all know what Lance Berkman said about you guys going into the 2011 season. And do you think, is it different? Do you guys have a different mindset now, or you personally, I guess you can't speak for everybody, but do you have a different mindset now that you guys aren't quite flying under the radar as low as you used to? You're on the radar now.
Our mindset's not going to change. I like how you're saying that we are on the radar and everything, but at the same time, if you kind of look at it, it doesn't really seem like we really are. We get a little bit of, nods here and there, but it's still coming down to now it's like, we picked up quite a few guys last year, but it wasn't enough still. We still weren't even marked as going to the World Series or anything like that. They've once again ruled us out, and we've gone back-to-back years, so to us, we feel like we're more of an underdog than being on the radar kind of thing. They're already picking guys and teams to go places already, but yet, we are the American League champions, and we're not getting any credit for it. So it's tough to say. I guess you can say we're on the radar, but at the same time, I don't feel like we are.
A lot of times, you hear the old cliche about, one game at a time, and of course, ultimately, every team's goal is to go to the World Series, go and to win the World Series. after having been there twice and been as close as you guys got, obviously now you know that you can do it. But how hard is it to keep, within a 162 game schedule? How hard is it to keep that mentality of one game at a time?
It's pretty hard, but at the same time, you stay within yourself. You try not to let those kind of things get to you. You know you have to take it one game at a time. If you start looking ahead, that's where it bites you in the butt. You got to make sure you stay focused and not worry about what's going on ahead of you, and just worry about yourself and your team. Because if you're sitting there going, well, if the Angels do this, then we get this, or if the Mariners and all those guys help us out, we can do this. You got to worry about what you're doing. You can't sit and worry about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, that's the job of the fans and the media to speculate, right? You guys need to take it one game at a time.
Yeah, the fans can deal with that, and we'll go out and do our best to win every game. That's our plan. We don't go out there with the intensity like, today I don't feel like playing. We're always out there giving 100% every single time. Wash will say the same thing. That's what he probably loves about us is every single game, day one from day whatever, we are going all the way out. There's never any worry or like, I don't think they feel like playing today. It's always we're going all out when we're there.
Now I know last year you did a campaign about texting and driving. I was just curious, have you heard any stories from people or heard anything that you really that someone was really happy about that, or that someone's life was changed, or something like that over your texting and driving campaign?
A lot of people have, noticed how important it really is. I have a couple minor leaguers staying here with me, and I was riding with one of them, and he started texting, and I said something to him, and he was like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't be doing that. It makes sense because, I'm not paying attention to the wheel or anything like that. And, he stopped right there. So it just comes down to getting people to realize how important it really is. The biggest stat that blows people away is when you tell them is you're a worse driver than somebody when you're texting and driving than somebody who is drunk. I'm not sitting here encouraging, hey, go out and drink and drive. I'm just saying that that's like a fact is when you're texting and driving, you're not looking at the wheel at all. While somebody who's drinking and driving, they're kind of a little bit alert, but at the same time, they're just as dangerous. I think it's just to get that message out that texting and driving is so dangerous that I think people need to realize that you're not only saving lives, but you're doing a lot better for yourself if you're not texting and driving. That message can always wait. It's never got to be that important that you got to text while you're driving. Right,
absolutely. On a more light note, we're one day away from the Super Bowl. Real quickly before I ask you, your thoughts on that. Do you think it'd be easier or harder? Because in football, in the playoffs, and the Super Bowl, it's one and done. One game and you're done. Move on to the next round, or your season's over. Would that be more difficult to prepare for than a series like you guys have, like is in Major League Baseball?
It's kind of tough to say. In football, they're playing once a week. Baseball, we're playing pretty much every single day. Same with like basketball and hockey. They're playing a lot more than the football players, but the football players are taking a lot more of a beating than we are as a baseball player. They're getting hit nonstop, beating each other up like that, while we're just running and conditioning. So it's tough to argue. It can go many different ways. But to me personally, I love how our playoffs are set up, and I'm okay with how football playoffs are set up because I think it wouldn't be right to see football, played 3 weeks in a row, one game because they obviously can't play. Back-to-back days. It's a lot harder than it is for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so fitting for the way that each sport is set up. It wouldn't necessarily work in other sports, but it's pretty good the way it is. So do you have a Super Bowl pick, or could we perhaps maybe hear Arnold Schwarzenegger make a pick?
Well, Schwarzenegger's not going to make a pick right now, because I'm kind of packing at the same time. But I would say if I really have to pick, and there's only one reason why, I'd pick the Giants to win. It's because, I'm a big Cowboys fan. Obviously, the Cowboys didn't make it to the playoffs, and they got beat by the Giants. So I would say, the big thing is to root for the Giants because they beat my team, and I'd rather see somebody come out of our division to win it than somebody who's not in our division. So that would have to be my pick. I'm going to have to go with the Giants and Eli Manning.
You mentioned you're a big Cowboys fan right across the street there. Have you met any of the Cowboys?
Yeah, actually, I've met quite a few of them. I've done some charity work with Brady James and DeMarcus Ware. So hopefully I can continue to do stuff like that. I'd like to get with, Jason Witt and a few other guys and see if I can maybe get some charity work with them. But, it's going to be tough. Those guys are pretty busy as well. So it's
right.
It's different, but, hey, I'll reach out as much as I can.
DeMarcus didn't try to tackle you, did he?
No, that guy would kill me if he did. He's a pretty good guy. I'm like 1/8 his size.
Yeah, he's a big dude, man.
All right, Derek. Before we let you go today, I just wanted to say that, or I wanted to ask you, are we planning on keeping the hair and the mustache through the entire 2012 season?
Not the entire 2012 season, no. It will be coming off, both the mustache and the hair. I haven't decided exactly when it is. I'm going to be I got engaged, so I'm going to be taking some pictures.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I want to make sure I look, very presentable and nice and clean. I can only go and have so much fun with this hair and this mustache for a while. I mean, I kind of look like a complete mess with this, but it's just about having fun. And I've had my fun with the mustache and the hair, but it's going to come to a point here soon where I'm going to be taking everything off. So I'm just enjoying it while I can.
Is there going to be some sort of ceremony for the haircut and the shave?
I wouldn't be surprised if it made the news that my mustache got cut off or something goofy like that. But no, there won't be too much of a ceremony. There's no doubt. I mean, it's just going to be a swift cut. Maybe I'll save some of it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting what I do with this.
Well, Derek, I know the feeling. When I got engaged, I had long hair and a big old goatee because I was in a rock band, and the wife wasn't so big on that. So I understand the feeling of having enough of it. Of course, women do that to us. So, well, Derek, we appreciate having you on, man, today.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me, and I'll make sure, Lauren's an awesome girl, so I don't have to worry too much about her doing too much like that. She enjoys it. She has fun with it. But the main thing is, like you said, I'm engaged now, and I got to have fun while I still can.
That's right. Well, congratulations, man, and good luck on the 2012 season.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it big time.
Thanks, Derek.